All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Two Scoops Podcast. Today we got the co-owner of Madsen Pest Management, Chaz Heinz.
Hey guys, Chaz Heinz. Been 9 years with Madsen Pest Management, and we're having a lot of fun. And it's honestly a great way to help people. I think that's a huge calling of mine, is finding ways to help people, and it's a big venture that way.
Right. So you're from Webster.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm from Frederick originally, and we just met a couple days.
Week.
Yeah, last week. I was hired through a marketing company to film some stuff for you guys, and met him and was like, "It'd be pretty cool on the podcast."
Yeah.
And
Crazy enough. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy enough, like, we're not age-wise that far apart, but with growing up in the same area, you usually know people. And then I was like, he's from Webster? Like, what? How come I've never heard of him? Because I feel like we have a lot of similar interests, too.
Yeah, big time. I would completely agree.
Yeah, so this is great, man. I'm glad you came on. Glad you made the trek out here.
Yeah.
And, let's just dive right into it.
Third winter didn't stop us, or whatever we're on.
Right, no kidding. But, so tell us about Madsen Pest. Like, how long have you guys been in business? And co-owner with your father-in-law?
Yep, father-in-law, Sean. So he had the idea, must have been right away, winter of 2014, spring of 2015. He was doing over-the-road truck driving, and his kids were getting to be a little bit of a guest, but like 7 and 12, right around in there, and he didn't want to be gone all the time. He had a brief venture in pest control for a couple of years before he got into truck driving and liked it, but didn't like working for other companies.
Right.
Didn't like exactly how things went. So he got it up and running. I was a little apart just because I've been dating his daughter of the, picking a logo and stuff like that, giving a little input, and he got it up and running. Fast forward a handful of months from there, I asked for his daughter's hand in marriage. At this point, I think we'd been dating probably 10 years now. And she was just graduating from flight attendant school. She was living down with him because from Webster to MSP, her call out was only 90 minutes. There's not much time for error. Like, it's got to be perfect. So she was living there for when she was getting called out. Got engaged November of 2015. And shortly after that, I was trying to get into PA school for physician assistant out of Madison. They only let, this is before online school was getting real big, so they only let 20-some students in a year, 400 applicants. Got my second denial letter. Hadn't told anybody about that.
Right.
And that same day, shortly after, he calls me. He's like, "Hey, would you, you're officially going to be a permanent member of the family. Do you want to try doing this pest control thing with me?" And I said, "Well,
absolutely.
I'll ride along, but I don't know anything about it." He's like, "Well, I do. I can teach you. And instead of going to school and getting more student loan debt,
right,
I'll pay you to learn." And I was like, "Well, I'll ride along. We'll check things out." So January, February, March is a slower time of year for us. We were able to have a lot of conversations and kind of see what it's about. And we started up spring of 2016 together as a LLC, and been running things ever since.
You guys are going strong too, because if you look at any pest control in the area, I think you got it pretty cornered.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of local competition and big brand competition around, but we've kind of got our little niche of where we fit, and helps to service a big area. Because with him being in Prescott and me being in Webster at the time, he trained me, but I was driving down there. He didn't do much of anything north of St. Croix Falls except for a couple accounts up here from family members.
Yep.
So his wife's from Spooner. She has friends and family up here too that he took care of. But after I started getting trained in, shout out to the Gandy Dancer Saloon. I was bartending there. That was my full-time job.
Nice.
But what a great way to network. I mean, every night when I'm working, I'm able to talk to people, and,
the bar networking around here is crucial.
Yeah.
It's almost required.
Well, yeah, in this kind of area for sure, because, I mean, every town there might only be 500-600 people, but you've got 10 bars and 8 churches. So you gotta be at one of the two to kind of network there. So it was cool. I got to share my new endeavor and talk to people, and then we start growing things up this way. So our whole theory for the first couple of years is everything from Danbury to Prescott we're willing to service.
Do you have one office just in Siren?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. One office out of Siren, but then since everybody brings their trucks home, they got access to a bigger area. Because we've got people in like Oakdale, Minnesota, Pine City, over to Rice Lake. So it helps with our service area big time.
We use you guys. Your boxes. We got your boxes everywhere.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I didn't
because
even
they work.
Right. They work good. That's funny.
No, it's great. So I guess, what are some of the challenges you guys face? Probably, I mean, you guys have been in business for years now, so probably not now. It's probably streamlined, but in the beginning...
I think we're always learning, though.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But were there any struggles you guys overcame in the early years?
Big time.
Yeah.
So, one that comes to mind right away is windshield time. Like, you came from over the road truck driving, so it's less than that. But, I think I just heard a quote the other day. A lot of people get into business because they want to work for themselves and pick their own hours. Yeah. But you soon realize, like, well, all it really means
reality hits you pretty damn hard.
I now have the hardest boss I've ever had on myself.
Right.
And then the time is like, well, I don't punch out at 8. Like, my mind's always spinning for something. Did I do this right? Is that person going to be taken care of? Or how am I going to do this tomorrow? Right. So the big task right away was windshield time. If I'm working in the metro area, it's easy to take care of 10 people because I'm only driving 15 miles.
Exactly.
When it's a stop in Farmington and then a stop in Ham Lake and then a stop in, I don't know, New Richmond, you're bouncing all over the place. Right. That was a big struggle. That's a lot of time. Big time. So, you get 5-6 people done and like, man, I just drove today. That's all.
No kidding. But that, I mean, it helps. Your guys' team is huge. How many employees do you have?
It's kind of funny because we had you there for a hiring, like kind of a hiring marketing video. And Lord willing, by the time you left, we had applications and ended up by Saturday after you were done, whatever day you were there, Tuesday, I think.
I can't remember. Yeah, it was Tuesday.
So by Saturday, we had 3 more hires done that week from Tuesday to Saturday. So that's super exciting. Yeah, we're still going to use the video because we always want quality talent.
Yeah.
And our team, was like a family bond there. I'm sure you felt it a little bit when you were there. And that's just the culture we're trying to create. So
no, it was great. The atmosphere, and when I just had this conversation with a friend. I was like, the word vibe kind of like makes me cringe.
Yeah.
But the vibe in there was great. But no, for real though, the energy in there when you walk in, you're like, man, everyone feels like super personal and close. Like, this is great.
Yeah, it's super fun to see because that's always something we want, and you can't, a lot of that you can't teach. It's got to be the right people there, to have that family bond. And we've got the right crew. We're up to 18 people once we hit busy season here this year, and going strong.
Dude, yeah, tons of people, and like in the video, everyone's not on it, obviously, but I like it. I think you guys are gonna like it. It's pretty good.
I think so too.
But
they're always fun to shoot. Now, the first time when the girls at North of 8 kind of came to us and were like, "Hey, we think you've got some because of what you do. We think we've got some interesting situations for TikToks or for videoing." It's like,
for sure.
I don't know. I feel super uncomfortable. What am I gonna say? But it's been fun. And now I think most of the people on our team look forward to those days instead of like, what are they making us do?
It's tough being on camera, knowing that you're being filmed and it's going to be put out towards, marketing or just on socials. Like, it's kind of daunting at first.
Well, but it also, forever. Yeah, I mean, our grandkids one day could be watching this.
Dude, I can't wait. This is another topic too, but I love looking at old photographs of my family in the past.
Yes.
And it's just gonna be weird with our generation the next generation, like our kids, will see like real videos, probably more videos than pictures of us.
Yeah.
It's gonna be wild. Like if I saw videos of my grandpa when he was younger, like
how cool
that would blow my mind.
Yeah, instead of going to grandma's house and going through the book of family photos.
Yeah, the Tupperware bin.
Yeah, exactly.
Dusty.
Yep.
Now it's fun.
You guys used to use, what is it called? Facebook?
Right, no kidding. MySpace?
Yeah.
You have MySpace?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Tom's MySpace? But yeah, a couple other questions here that I'm really curious. So, with pest management, what what's like the number one animal or insect, I guess, creature that you guys deal with? Is there a top one, or is there pretty much hand in hand?
I would say, without looking to see exactly.
Right.
With the software, we could definitely pull that out and see exactly. I would say rodents are the main one for animals.
Like mice.
Yeah, mice. Rats, some areas more around like farm settings.
Yeah.
They
that makes sense.
Like if there's grain spillage or stuff like that, they thrive in those areas. But up here in the middle of the woods and, even down through the Twin Cities, the rodent population is so strong that they don't give up. They're always trying to get in.
Right.
They're always,
no kidding.
So that would be number one for the animal aspect of things. And being we've got so much water up here, I think spiders would probably be the number one for the insects. They're not technically an insect; they're an arachnid.
Yep.
But they, you're close to the water.
I have wolf spiders all over the place.
Yeah,
Every time I have to go in the crawl space, I cringe because spiders are the one thing that gives me the huge ick. I'm like,
yeah, and with the water, they've got a conveyor belt of food coming at them all the time.
The swamp back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're, I think it's pretty natural to be afraid of how those things look because they don't look
so much.
They don't look anything human resemblance, and people don't like them. Not to mention they make a mess of your house with the webs all over the place. So that's part of the service when we come out for spiders is removing the cobwebs on the exterior. And if we're doing winter services and have time, we'll remove the webs on the interior too, just to help people stay on top of it. Otherwise, folks for their cabin work all week taking care of their home, get up on a Friday or a Saturday to spend all day wiping off their decking furniture.
That's nice. I didn't know you guys did that.
Yeah, that's a huge plus for that type of control.
No kidding. And then with the animals, okay, well, what's the biggest rat you've seen here? Because like I've seen one rat in my whole life here, and it was like a basketball. I thought it was a huge cat, and I get up to him and he's like, I was like, oh my god,
no. Yeah, so I had one, I'm 5'11", I had one holding on a trap and, using the fisherman's poles, holding it out. It was pretty much shoulder to belt from trap to tail. So that was giant. And that customer let us know that they're probably bigger than normal when we're there. Yeah. She's like, my dog goes downstairs and gets frayed and comes back up. So she goes, I think they're pretty big.
Oh my god.
She goes, I can literally hear them running through the walls. Yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, sometimes customers say stuff, and when they're fearful of it, everything gets a little bigger.
Exaggerated a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
We
fishing stories.
Exactly. Maybe. We trapped that first one. It's like, oh no, she's not kidding. These are giants.
Yeah. Did you mount it?
Yeah, I should have. I didn't.
That'd be a cool kind of story. Like,
yeah.
Could you imagine taking that to a taxidermist? Like, well, what do you got? And you're like, you're gonna laugh at me at first, but just bear with me.
Yeah.
We have a 60-pound rat.
That would actually be pretty cool to have in the office.
That would be pretty neat. Should do that.
Yeah.
But what do you guys do with the pests and stuff that you? Because you use the cages, right? Like not like the kill traps. But
yeah. So for mice and rats, we're definitely killing them. They repopulate too fast.
Yeah.
Roughly after 3 months of just one male, one female mouse.
Yep.
You got 96 after 3 months.
Oh,
now that's perfect water, perfect habitat, and perfect food. Which, I mean, with this fall last year with acorns, they should have that, right?
Yeah.
So you let that go for a year, it's insane. It's like 1,200 mice after a year just from 2. So you can imagine how fast that can get out of hand.
Yeah, real quick.
We kill those. There's no holding back on the mice.
Yep.
But now any of the bigger animals, the bats, the squirrels, beaver, raccoons, skunks, fox, we tried our best to live trap them and relocate them.
Cool.
So I've got a bunch of fun videos of releasing them. I had a beaver that I trapped over in Grantsburg. It was actually out of the water, trapped it with just like a catch pole and some gloves, got it into a live trap. And that one had to have been about 80 pounds because I couldn't lift it with one arm to get to the truck. I had to get both arms up to... It's like, holy smokes. The animal was saved. Yeah. We got it back into a pond at Sean's house and still living there happily to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah. Drop them off. Wait, don't drop them off here.
Yeah. They can be a little destructive.
Yeah. We have a bunch of otters out here.
Those are fun to watch.
Yeah. There's a tank out here that is the biggest otter I've ever seen. Like, I've seen sea otters.
Yeah.
And this thing's could give one of those a run for its money.
I believe that.
Just the king of the lake over here.
Yeah, they're great hunters. I accidentally trapped one. I'm trying to get a fisher out of someone's property, and
I forgot about fishers.
Yeah, they're vicious too.
Yeah, they're big too.
Mm-hmm. That they
I only had one encounter with one, but I've only seen one in the wild one time in my life.
I got to see one bow hunting this year.
Yeah?
Chasing down some squirrels. It's like, just please don't come to my tree.
Yeah. Dude, and you also said when we were at that one house filming that stuff, you said that there's flying squirrels. Like, you repopulate a lot of flying squirrels. I thought that was super interesting because I didn't think they were around here.
Yeah, so to my network that's out there that I communicate with that do wildlife trapping, I feel like we've got a very strong population up here. A lot of them will see, a lot of the companies, will see 2 to 3 jobs a year, and I feel like it's almost every week we get someone calling and being like, hey, we've got flying squirrels. They're the cutest little things, big beady eyes, and super docile. So we relocate a ton of them. They're federally protected, so we can't kill them unless you get a special permit, but they're really fun to work with.
I'd love to see one of those.
Yeah, and actually, some people, my distributor that sells our products, he's got sugar gliders, which are from New Zealand or Australia, native there, and he has them as pets. They look very similar to a flying squirrel, and they just hang out in his house, and just like a mink or a ferret, I guess.
I would love. And there's this one Instagram page that I follow, and this dude has like a bunch of, I think he rehabs animals in Australia, and he has these wombats. I'm like, I want one so bad.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, they look like little Australian bears.
Yep, they're awesome.
So how does sales work with you guys? Do you how do you do door to doors? Is it mostly internet driven?
Yeah.
Do people just find you on Google?
Yeah, so I would say our number one and big thank you to our customers is referrals.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
we track that every year, and we actually have a program that if you're a customer and you refer someone else and they sign up for some sort of service that is like a continual service, we'll give you $100. So that's honestly our cheapest form and most effective form of marketing. I think it's the most
what am I trying to say? Not valid, but I bet it's the most effective way, because if I come to you and go, hey man, you should use this product,
right?
Like that has way more weight than me finding it on some random. It's more personable. I feel like a more personable review.
Yeah, 100%. You know, because we do Facebook ads, we do Google ads, we put videos out there, and trying to develop our YouTube page a little bit, but. Yeah, I mean, you can see that and be like, okay, you know, they're saying all the things they should say. That's great. But when your buddy says, hey,
we use
these guys really helped us.
Yeah.
It really locks that in. So then next would be, we don't do any door-to-door.
Yeah.
You know, except for maybe talking to a neighbor if they're there.
That makes sense. Right there.
But yeah, Facebook is a big one for us, and Google. The billboards that we put up, I don't know if you've seen any of those.
I don't know.
We've got I think 10 different billboards out there, and that's actually... It's harder to track, but we get some good comments on it because, you know, nobody wants to be driving down I-35 or 53 and see a giant spider or a mouse popping out of a billboard. So it sticks in their mind a little bit.
No, that's good. I should probably implement that. That's a really good idea. Even with my plowing, that'd be, if you refer somebody,
Oh, yeah, it's limitless, right? Yeah. And the first idea we had for a similar situation, my wife came up to it with it. She used to be our office manager, and we were trying to get our Google reviews, right? Because if someone goes onto your Google page and they see one review or 3 reviews from a family member, a buddy, and a sibling, or it's like, great, right?
Yeah.
So we were at a conference, and they're like, you got to up your Google reviews. It's like, well, what can we do? So we emailed all of our customers and said, hey, is 5 minutes of your time worth $5 of Dairy Queen ice cream? And offered everybody a Blizzard at Dairy Queen. We'd send them a gift card for $5 if they could leave us a review. Not saying what kind of review it had to be, but just saying, could you just review us from this past year of experience with us? And boom, blew up to, you know, maybe 30, 40 reviews over a week campaign like that. And then it's like, well, hey, we're seeing what our customers like. Now what can we develop from there?
That's super smart. You mentioned the conference.
Yeah.
Is this like...
So we do...
Where's that at?
We do 2 separate ones. Minnesota, it's their licensing is based off an annual conference.
Uh-huh.
So if you go to the annual conference, you get your license for the next year. Otherwise, you have to test every year.
Okay.
So we've got 2 people, Sean and one of our other Minnesota employees, that go to that one.
Okay.
That is very similar. The Wisconsin one is just a volunteer conference. So you go there, it's 2 days of professionals, distributors, motivational speakers talking about kind of industry standards and where the industry's going, what
new products,
new products, new practices and stuff like that.
Okay.
And, you know, one year it was talking about, one of the companies talking about reviews and how important it is to have that on Google.
Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, they were trying to sell their product. It's like, well, we can do something similar, but instead of paying them, let's pay our customers.
Right. This is why you're in business for 10 plus years.
It's fun that way.
It's great. Yeah. All right, guys, quick segment here. We're going to thank some sponsors. First off, there's Fights Backwoods Beer and Bait, located in Fallen, right off of 70. If you can show him that you subscribe to my channel and like his Facebook, he'll give you 10% off anything in the store, except for booze. Then there's Ken's Affordable Auto in Siren. Not just a dealership, he also fills propane tanks. Then we got Throttle RX in Danbury. If you're looking at exploring the Northwoods, you can rent his side-by-sides or pontoons, and if you use the code 2SCOOPS, you'll get an exclusive discount. Then there's Leaf and Lumber Construction, specializing in decks and fences. So I'll leave everyone's link in the description below, and thank you. Back to the show. Before I forget about this, I want to know is there any, what's the strangest creature you've caught in a live trap? I'm thinking probably, cats, dogs maybe, but.
Yeah, I thankfully have never accidentally caught a pet.
Yep.
That's huge. I do my best not to do that, raccoons love cat food, right?
Yeah.
But if there's any neighbor cats, I'm not going to put cat food in the live trap because I don't want to catch the cat from the neighbors.
That'd be an awkward conversation.
Yeah. I guess accidentally catching skunks is always a surprise. So I've only been sprayed once in the last 9 years. Man. And it was a situation where I thought there were some groundhogs, and this was at my house of all houses, right?
Of course it is.
So I'm in the process of redoing a camper at the time, and I had everything gutted down to the studs sitting outside next to my shed, and something was getting under my shed. And I just checked my live trap when I got home after work.
Yeah. I'm
on the phone with an employee, not paying any attention, just walking by to see what's in the live trap with all my stuff there. Oh, no. And I look over, and I'm distracted with the conversation.
Yep.
I see a skunk in the trap, and I hit the pile of stuff that I just gutted out, this mirror shatters that I just pulled out, skunk sprays. I jump to the other side of my shed, and I don't smell very well because I've done stinky work all my life, so I just kind of tune it out. So I didn't really smell it, which sounds wild, right? And I walk into my house, and my wife turned around. She goes, "What did you do today?" She's like, "Go outside and get undressed." Get out of here. So it's like, oh, that skunk must have sprayed me. So that was kind of the worst encounter, and off the clock on my own time.
Right.
Whatever.
How'd you get it out? Not the skunk. How'd you get the smell out?
I don't remember. I might have thrown those clothes out, to be completely honest.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got products that are supposed to take it out.
Yep.
It's an enzyme. It's a bacteria that eats organic products.
Is it like soap? You just wash it on you?
Well, thankfully, I'm like this every day, plus gloves on, so it was only on clothing.
That's nice.
I've never had anything on the skin, but worst case scenario, it can happen.
Yeah, no kidding. I haven't had any encounters with skunks, and they can spray pretty far too, can't they?
I think so. That was at least 10 feet there, and I wasn't blasted with it, but I definitely had some.
Not getting within 10 feet of that.
Other super interesting jobs. We were taking care of some townhomes, and they said they had snakes in the townhomes. Like, well, that's fine. I'll come out and trap them. Or my plan was just to go there, grab them, and take them out of there.
Yep.
Look into it, and up on their second, their lofted floor, there's snakes up there too. I was like, well, that's really weird. So do an inspection of the outside and start knocking on neighbors' doors to ask, because it was, a management company that reached out to us because there was a complaint of a renter to an owner. So big, I don't probably have the perfect story when I'm showing up there.
Right. Little telephone.
Yeah. get there and find out there's some cracks in the foundation. The flat work had cracked, and they're getting in and living under the slab.
And they're climbing up.
Yeah, so same thing. Those cracks are going all the way through.
Yeah.
So I start pulling carpet back to see, and there's cracks. So they're getting into the walls and behind the carpet and running edges all over the house. That one was wild. I didn't expect to run into that day, but we got the concrete fixed. We got carpet pulled back, sealed up on the inside too, and then we were good.
How many snakes you pull out?
That one was only 2 or 3.
Okay. I was picturing like a nest, a den of them.
Yeah, but we've had that too. So then fast forward a handful of years later, and they called because they thought they had a snake in their house. Cabin. He was pretty sure he saw one when he went down to the basement in the morning to flip laundry or whatever the story was.
Yeah.
Employee went down there and he called me and he goes, I think you need to come down to this one. I was like, all right, why? Yeah. He's like, well, I checked the exterior. I think I figured it out, but there was this tarp and I pulled the tarp back to see what was going on under the tarp. And there wasn't any snakes under there, but he goes, it's like this bowl. And the whole runoff of the driveway kind of came to where this tarp was right against the foundation.
Yep.
So we dig it out, and it used to be the old exterior pump house.
Okay.
And when they went to seal it, they just threw some blocks up there and backfilled it with dirt. So there's holes coming into the block work, right? Ended up trapping 350 snakes out of this cabin. And, we got everything dug out and patched up, so we're good now.
Yeah.
But I've never expected that we're walking in and up in the rafters you see snakes and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like eerie feeling. What are we going to do? So we just start grabbing them as fast as we could and then set out some traps. And, a lot of those snakes we got off the traps with some cooking oil and released them back into our wild instead of someone else's. Right. So now my kids are super comfortable with snakes. I think my one son was 2 at the time, and he's helping me grab snakes out of buckets and throwing them in the woods. He didn't know it. I mean, if Dad's doing it, I'll do it.
Right. I don't mind snake. I actually I don't love them, but they don't bother me at all.
They're tolerable.
I mean, if you pick up a sheet of plywood or something,
it's a surprise.
Yeah. But no, those are fun. All right. Besides pest management, too, what do you do in your free time?
So... like I say, I like helping people, right? So that branches out to just about everything.
Yeah.
With the family, we love outdoors stuff. If we can go camping with the ice shack, we haven't brought the kids in tents except for a couple times.
Right. When we were talking, I told you we weren't going to pull this out till it wasn't comfortable. Ice is kind of coming out, and you said I wouldn't pull mine out either. So you have an ice castle as well.
It's the Grey Wolf version, but virtually the exact same as this.
Yep. 17 foot?
16.
16?
So it gets a little tight with 5 of us in
there.
Yeah,
it gets tight with 2, 3 of us now, and then our dogs.
Yeah.
We can't wait to upgrade this thing.
It'd be fun, right? But it gets busy, but my kids love jigging, so we got some fun videos of them catching perch and catching crappies this year, and they absolutely love that.
I cannot freaking wait to take my daughter fishing. Like right now, she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Not gonna work, but
she'll grow to love it. I mean, they'll love what you love, right?
I hope so. I definitely will probably not push it on her, but also
let them grow that love.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and we use this. I'm sure you guys use yours too, both summer and winter, like
year round.
That's the beauty of these things. I feel like they're perfect for our area.
Oh, 100%. It's our little mobile cabin. If there's a wedding that we're going to and there's somewhere I can park close, I'm not getting a hotel room. I'm bringing the ice shack because the kids, they actually love being in it. They ask when it's sitting in my yard, not doing anything. They're like, "Can we sleep in the shack tonight?" It's like, well, I don't care. I'm not though.
I know, and man, no, like this thing. I would sell my motorcycle before this if we had to. I just it's so dual purpose for me, and also this is kind of like my editing office too. So and an enclosed trailer. Like I've done trimming shit in here, so it works out great.
Yep, they can do just about anything.
Yeah.
Outside of fishing and hunting, we enjoy snowmobiling. Got the kids hooked on that. They like riding around. Otherwise, we got a little kid one that they drive around to our 2-acre yard up with. And
dude, I just filmed. Have you ever heard of Kids Pro Ice, like snowmobile racing?
Yeah.
That's some of the coolest things I've seen. Just seeing smaller kids like
riding
cold weather. Yeah, not inside, playing video games or something. They're out there just racing these sleds, and they're not slow. Like, no, they're fast. Yep. It's crazy.
It Love is that. Crazy. I've got a buddy that's got some friends that do it. Were you just doing that a couple weekends ago? Last weekend?
Yep, a couple weeks.
Was it in Minnesota?
Yeah, it was in Forest Lake.
It's probably the exact same race. I was watching videos from it of one of my college roommates going there for some farm friends that he's got.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, it
was pretty good weather too. Like, it wasn't windy or anything, so got some good drone footage of that. And yeah, it was really fun. There was... It's just so cool to see, man. Just kids being out in the outdoors like that.
Big time.
Yeah.
So not to segue, drone, you have to have a license for that. Well, how does that work? I see you're a pilot as well.
Yep. So the drone work, like, you can, just regular consumer can buy any of these drones, film their content, whatever.
Just have to stay under so many feet before FAA?
You have to stay under 400 feet.
Okay.
So you're not in a
airspace.
Different airspace. Obviously, you're not supposed to fly in a in like a Class B airspace. So I would say if you're like 30 miles away from Minneapolis, usually the Class B airspaces are around like big cities. So our closest one is Minneapolis. But
and that runs almost to Forest Lake, doesn't it? The Class B.
There's a veil, so it's like an upside down wedding cake.
Yeah.
So with Minneapolis Airport, if you look at like a nav map, like 5 mile veil around the airport.
Yep.
That airspace will go straight to the ground. But then you go like 15 miles, then there will be like Class... Oh my God, no, I'm just drawing a blank here.
Most likely E.
Class E airspace.
Around everything else.
And then veils out, and then...
Yeah, so like an upside down wedding cake.
Exactly. So to answer your question, there is a license for what I do. It's a commercial drone license.
Okay.
So that just means like I can fly my drone capture media for hire. But if someone was just like getting a drone, doing it for their own stuff, like not getting paid, like, it's totally fine. But there are laws that you need to follow with.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because like, what's the saying? If you don't know the law, it's not an excuse. That's,
but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I really love videography and I love flying. I don't fly as much right now, just because it's freaking expensive.
Yeah, but I'm currently working on my private. It's fun,
man. Okay, so what state are you in? Ground school? Are you doing ground school?
Yeah, I don't go to ground school. I just watch the recordings because I'm going through Rush City.
Okay.
And 3-hour ground school plus 2 hours of driving. That's 5 hours a week. I drive there to fly and then I watch it. So
you have hours.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect. Hey, have you done your solo yet?
Possibly next week. We'll see.
Oh yes, Chaz.
Yeah, night flying at the end of the month.
I hated night flying. It's so boring.
That's what everybody hears. I hear from everybody. And landing, how was that at night?
I hit a bird. I winged a bird. Me and my instructor were like, thunk, and we were like looking over, and it was just like a flash. And we're like, oh, okay.
Oh no,
dude. The solo flight is something. Just it's absolutely magical. I cannot wait. Dude, I don't have a lot of pilot friends. So I hope you go through this.
As soon as I added you on Facebook and so I was like, yes, that's sweet. Now I can talk about this with someone else.
We just opened up a huge can of worms.
Yeah. So that's another hobby now that I have.
So, yes. There's something about you just being in the air by yourself. Yeah, and it's terrifying too. Mm-hmm. Like when you are flying left seat and you look over and your instructor is not there and you're like, oh, all this is on me.
I can imagine.
It's your hands are sweating but it's the most exhilarating thing. It's so great. I can't wait to hear your experience with this. It's a lot of fun.
I literally asked my instructor last week. I was like, so solo means like you're in the plane, you just don't talk, right? She's like, no. I'll be on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
usually they have a handheld. My instructor, was like, all right, you got this. Yeah. And then she had a little handheld, and that's how we kind of communicated. But I did my ground school. I physically wanted to go to ground school just so I was in a classroom environment.
It's stronger learning that way, for sure.
And I went to Osceola and did my hours there. And yeah, I failed my motorcycle license and driver's license the first time, but passed my pilot license in a storm. It was great.
Nice.
It was so bad. Oh man, I've got so many. I could drill you for this for hours.
I believe it. Well, everything about flying is crazy. Like day one, they're like, "You're gonna fly today." It's like, okay, so I think that means like they're gonna take the plane off and sure, maybe up in the air.
Yep.
We're gonna do some turning or maneuvering, and like, all right, well, you're gonna take off. It's like, what? Yep. I'm gonna do what?
Yep.
Like, yep, I'll talk you through it.
Are you flying in a 152 or like a 172?
172.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty bait. Yep.
Yep.
That's the only endorsement that I have is just single engine land, no high performance or anything.
Yeah.
I do want to get my tail dragger.
That would be sweet.
And, yeah. Ultimate goal is my ultimate goal in flying. Oh man, some Super Cub skis. Filming a video, ice fishing some remote lake. Like, I've got this pipe dream doing that one day. It will happen. But
well, maybe we can do it together.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So our overall goal, why we're getting into it, is eventually I want to be able to get into municipal treatments for mosquitoes, for like larviciding, and into crop applications. Yeah. So it's a nuance of pest control that you need to be a pilot to do.
Right.
But I mean, those guys are pretty crazy when you're seeing them flying in and out of, 50 feet above that.
I love it.
So I'm hoping much. I can build my hours and confidence to there, but we'll see. It's going to be a journey.
Yep. Oh man. Have you done any? Oh, another cool little aspect of that is, I had a graduation present from one of the flight instructors there, and it was just a couple hours in his, I think Citabria. It was an aerobatic plane, and he's like, nice. You're flying front seat. It was a tail dragger, high performance, everything, and man, it just like when you go up and you do like a hammerhead turn where you basically just like punch it up, and you're in 0 G's, and you just like glide down and then punch out. You do your barrel rolls and flips and shit. It's
that's gotta be.
You're like, how can this machine do this?
Because even in a 172, when you're doing a 45-degree bank, for your turn, it's like, wow, this actually this feels. I don't know what the G-force technically is, maybe 2.2 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, I can really feel the acceleration here. This is fun.
So, actually, I don't think I've explained to anybody why I named the media company VX Media. Oh. So, you got your V speeds. Yep. You got your VY is your best rate of climb, right? And VX is your best angle of climb. Yep. So I was like, it's VX Media, the best angle.
That's pretty cool.
So I think only a pilot would really get that.
And I didn't even put that together, but that it's actually a really good play on words, because best angle for doing media. That's perfect.
Yep. So there you go. Heard it here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Heard it here first.
How many hours do you have? Because with your PPL you need 40, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. Yep. And I want to say, if I had to guess, I'm right around 12 right now.
Nice.
Trying to get it done as quickly as possible. So trying to pick up like 4 to 6 hours a week.
It's smart too to like block it off, because I think a lot of I did mine fairly quick. I got mine when I was 18, and I want to say I did it within a year and a half.
Oh yeah.
And I took my test right at 40 hours.
That way it's fresh.
Yeah. And I think most people don't block it off, and they like span out for years. Right. And then, you don't retain a lot of that stuff.
Yep. But I can see that for sure. Because even from when I've done a couple times where it's days back to back. Yeah. And just the growth you feel in those 2 sessions. It's like, I wouldn't want to spread that out by a month. Right. Because I feel like I'd forget half of my last lesson. Yeah. And then not have that like muscle memory of exactly where you're at.
And then kind of the book side of it, like with getting my commercial drone license, which
that had to help then.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe what the FAA wanted a normal, not normal, but just someone without an aviation background.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, like, I'm like, man, this is really intricate, which it was second nature to me because, like, I was familiar with all of it, but I was like, this is pretty hard for the average Joe, I guess. But
yeah, so the reason I ask about drones is with the wildlife, we do a lot of roof inspections. And I haven't played with drones at all to know like what the clarity is and how good I can see and potential what software there'd be for measuring stuff. But the hope and dream is at one point I don't have myself or my wildlife crew getting up on roofs and checking it out. It'd be like, hey, we're going to pull in the driveway, we're going to talk to the customer, and then it's going to say, hey, I'll be flying this drone around for 20, 30 minutes, getting pictures and videos of everything, and then, you know, big safety aspect. We obviously have to physically do the work, but I think it could work. The technology seems to be there for it.
I have a pretty good drone. There's definitely better ones out there. There's actually one that I extremely want just for filming stuff, but it's definitely well, after this I'll show you if you got time. For sure. We could take my drone and just like do a test look at the roof or something. That'd be sweet. It's amazing how those little drones are amazing, man. The technology with them, I'm like, it's great.
What a time to be alive.
And honestly, the my big drone, I've got two drones, an FPV style one, and then the Mavic, which is more like just it has a better camera on it. But the smaller one, like I can get like this far from anything and see it. Yeah, it's so.
Yeah, so that would work perfect.
Like I'll whip through a truss system like going 20.
That's wild.
Like it can fit through some small spaces. So
that's really cool.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
The thing's been on the fritz on me. The little one, the big one is still that has a better camera though. But definitely,
that's cool.
I cannot wait until you get that, and then because it's fun to share that experience. And I like even 31. How many years ago was that? 13 years ago. Yeah. Like thinking about my first solo just makes my whole body just like I remember it so vividly, like the emotion, and I can't wait for you to experience that.
I can imagine.
It's one of those things you have to go through. I wouldn't do it any justice of explaining it, but
yeah. Well, no, and it's gotta feel that way because I remember telling my girlfriend at the time, contemplated after college going into the Air Force, and I was like, man, if I was ever selected to be a fighter pilot, with how much I like driving my bike, my motorcycle, I don't know if they'd ever be able to take me out of it. It's just like, hey, refuel me, I'm up here.
Yeah. It's great. What kind of bike do you have?
A 2003 Triumph RS.
Yes.
So more of a street bike, but it's still classified as a cruiser, so I get all the fun and the cheap insurance.
Perfect. Perfect. That bike's a 2004. Yeah, Street Glide. Like, it's got 66,000 miles on it, but it's going strong, man. I was just talking to a guy. He was just like, oh man, with this warmer weather, we're gonna have the bikes out soon. I'm like, oh man, I'm glad you reminded me because I never remember to pull my battery out and charge it.
I've had mine on a tender all year this year. So hopefully it's good. The issue is I use my snowmobile and bike batteries. I just switch them.
Yep.
So I'll pull them in for a little bit. There hasn't been much snowmobiling this year, so it's ready to go.
I can't wait to get a sled. For ice fishing, like I want the old man. Yep. Cheap insurance too with those. Yep. I think Tiff was telling me like insurance on like some crazy new Polaris 800 is like
with the turbo
just insanely expensive because they basically know you probably gonna die on it.
Right.
But yeah, I want the old man Indy with like the utility box and everything.
Well, they make some that you can pull your like sled shack right up onto the back and everything's good to go. Yeah,
I want one of those so bad because with my 4-wheeler, I put chains on it and I can get around pretty good.
Like 2 years ago, what 3 years ago when it was bad, nothing.
No
wheeled vehicles could go.
Right at the end here, there was about 5 inches of snow on the lake, and that was probably the max with the 4-wheeler. So in the future, I'm really hoping to get a sled.
Yeah,
but
That'd be sweet.
That's awesome. Do you do any like moto camping at all with that?
Have not. That was, right outside of college, me and a bunch of buddies would ride, and that was always the dream and the hope to go down and ride the tail of the dragon and backpack camp the way down there and way back. But it's just never happened. We still talk about it.
Still can happen.
It still could happen. It would be a blast to do, even if we trailered down there. Yeah.
I mean, some of the places that we, a couple friends, we do some moto camping and stuff. And mostly now up by like Iron Range.
Oh, so beautiful.
It's great. I love doing that, man. It's so much fun. And the gear. I just geek out on the camping gear and like, yeah. That's cool. I didn't know
Yeah. That's what I was saying when I got
what else is there?
When I got to know you over the last 3 days, I was like, hey, there's a lot of similarities.
Right. Do you have your own headset for
on the bike?
No, for flying.
Yes.
That's the one thing I didn't. So because when you're flying, I don't know if the viewers know this, but when you got your headset,
it's right in your mouth.
That thing is right here. And when you're renting a plane and using the community one, I'm always thinking I'm basically kissing like 30 dudes right now.
How many times was it sanitized? Yep. Yeah, I just picked one up last week. My sister picked it up for me and shipped it.
So David Clark?
It is a David Clark.
Yes. It's lucky dog.
I like it.
What else we got? But no, I want to go back. No, not back to it, but
we can go back to other hobbies or other ways I kill free time with if you want.
Yeah. What else is there? There's got to be more.
Yeah, there's for sure more. So 6 years ago, my niece was in kindergarten, and her mom reached out and said, "Hey, will you help? We're starting a kindergarten basketball program and looking for coaches. Would you help coach your niece in this?" I was like, "Yeah, that sounds fun." Yeah. I played basketball, but I've never coached. I would need direction, but then the head coach was like, "No, I'll give you direction. Yeah, we'll get this thing up and running." Small towns, not always the easiest to find help to run the programs that are, I don't know what the right word, if it's fringy, but not everybody has a kindergarten basketball program. If you do, and you don't have parents that are going to coach it, it's not going to be there. So after the first year, the head coach is like, "Hey, my kids are moving on. Mm-hmm. You got kids, right?" He's like, "Yeah, they'll be in school in 5 years."
You have 3 kids?
3 kids.
3 kids?
Yeah. So like, my oldest won't be in school for 5 years. He's like, "Well, the program might be dead for 5 years if you don't run it." Oof. And it's like, oh, well, I can't let that happen because I love my area. I mean, I know some people don't like the small towns. I love it.
Oh, I love it.
I love everything.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
Area. So it's like, I can't let even kids that I don't know not have this access, right? So I said, I have a blast doing it. I'm gonna keep it going. So now the last 6 years, I've been the kindergarten through 2nd grade. We call it the little dribblers program.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch him progress. So then a couple years into that, he's like, "Hey, same thing. I run a T-ball program," and we're stepping away from that because now I'm coaching middle school T-ball. And like, yeah, I'd love to do that. So, class sizes aren't huge around here, but I want to say this winter between kindergarten 1st and 2nd grade, I had 40 kids playing basketball with me.
Dang!
And signups are right now for T-ball. I think last year we had 62.
How do you sign up?
Kids out for T-ball? Just reach out to me, however.
Okay.
Otherwise, through the school, they sent a flyer out. But we're not we use the school property, but it isn't a Webster program. Okay. So I let homeschool families sign up. I let Siren families sign up. If you're willing to get your kids there, I'm happy to do it.
Do you guys travel? Like, is there other programs in surrounding towns that you guys compete with?
Nothing yet. I mean, there are probably programs out there off the top of my head. I think.
Like, you play like on a Saturday, we have a game against Prescott or something.
Yeah, that would be fun. Haven't done that yet. I don't know who all does it locally around our area. But honestly, with our numbers that we've been generating over the past handful of years, my hope this year is that we can break it down into actually just doing our own like club team. Yeah. Because if I've got 60 kids out and can put 12 on a T-ball team, we'll be able to run 4 teams and have our own games every day. So it'd be like, I've only got one field that I'm on, so half the practice is two teams practicing skills that we're working on, and the other two are scrimmaging each other. And I think they'd have a little more fun that way.
That's awesome, man. I didn't know that about you.
So
that's got to be pretty hard too. Like,
we need a lot of help, right? Because I put right on the flyer, I think this year I said if I don't have 12 coaches, I have to cancel it, because I mean, one coach, their full-time job is literally just running bathroom and water breaks.
Yeah.
Because with 60 kids, I mean, if every kid has to go to the bathroom once, that's as much as running as you can do from the field to the school. So, yeah, and, you know, trying to get them all to the right stations. Not to mention, actually, we want to be productive and work on a skill. Like, hey, this is how you hold a bat, or this is how you throw a ball.
Right.
So, and it's, you know, they're young, so we only have an hour and a half to really get through that. We're not there for a couple hours.
Right. Just in the summer?
Yeah, I just run it for 5 weeks in May to June, and you know, weather's got to be nice to us too.
Right, exactly.
That's what gets tough, because once the kids get out of school, to have a family bring in their kindergartner back to school for a 3 p.m. practice or whatever would be less likely. When they're right at school and they all can just go there right after school, and parents can pick them up at 5:30, then it works really good.
Right. So what's the span of your oldest is?
Oldest is in kindergarten now.
Okay.
Sunday he turns 6.
Oh.
So
Mark's birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Great time to have birthdays.
Yeah.
So he'll be turning 6. Middle child is 4. He turned 4 in November. And then our youngest turned 2 in December. So they're all about 2 years apart. It's a blast. All 3 boys. It is a nonstop wrestling match.
I bet.
At our house / chaos of, they're like little tornadoes, right?
I bet.
But we love them, and I don't know, it's so much fun.
I mean, I'm a very new parent. Our daughter just turned 1 yesterday.
Nice.
And she's walking, like, not slow either. Like, she's almost like jogging right now. I'm like, what the hell happened? You were crawling, now you're jogging to me?
That's such a wild transition. Oh, it's so wild.
Holy cow. But it's great, man. It's like
so cool.
Damn it, that's just the best thing, too. Like, when she was born, that was, like, the same emotional feeling as, like, a solo flight.
Yeah.
Like, that just, what is happening, like, terrifying, but, like, super prideful and...
Yeah.
Same. Not same experience, but...
Very like, similar emotions, though.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, the whole fatherhood experience is fun. And
right.
When I was trying to get into PA school, I was working on the ambulance for Burnett County.
Yep.
So I've got a fair amount of emergency medical background, so I was able to deliver all 3 of our kids.
Shut up!
Yeah, really? So it's super cool, right?
That is awesome, man.
So like that was always in the EMS world.
Yeah.
Like you always want your stork badge of honor, right? Like you want to deliver for somebody. You never want someone to have to deliver in an ambulance, but if someone has to deliver, you want to be the one doing it.
Yeah.
It's a really cool experience, and can you call it customer service on an ambulance? Maybe, but like you're there through someone's one of the biggest highlights of their life, right? And you're able to help them through that and deliver a baby safely. So to the point of like with my niece, I would joke with my sister-in-law, like, hey, don't go to the hospital. I'll just deliver at home. And that didn't work. And obviously I said the same thing to my wife. She's like, no, we're going to the doctor. But then the doctor's like, hey, I think it's time. How hands-on do you want to be? I was like,
right there, man.
I want to do everything. She's like, okay, I'll coach you through it. So, child number 1, I was maybe like 50-50, helped her out. Yeah. Child number 2, I was quite hands-on. Child number 3, I put all of the stuff on, and I delivered our youngest. And she looked at me and she goes, if you ever want me to observe you delivering a baby again, just let me know. I was like, that's pretty sweet.
Man, I was not there. That's amazing, man. That's gotta be super prideful. Like, I delivered you, like, or not. I delivered you, but I got you.
Yep.
No, crazy experience. I can't believe like how. Oh, I remember when Riley was born. Doctor immediately got her out. Hey, Dad, you want to cut the cord?
Yeah.
Like, it's already cut. You just get like the ceremonial little end of it, and then I remember gave her to Mom, and she was sitting there with her little fingers. Yeah. And I'm like, holy cow, she actually has fingernails.
And they're long.
Yeah. And then the doctor was just like, rip, and I'm like,
it's crazy, right?
like,
that's wild.
What are you doing? But yeah, they were super long. That's the one thing that really surprised me with that. I was like,
yep, perfect growing situation, right? They've got all the nutrients.
Oh man, it was what an experience. Terrifying. But,
yeah. Most definitely.
Man, it's so freaking cool to see. Like Tiff was really on it with her year or monthly pictures.
Oh yeah.
So every month she took a picture. Yeah, just how they change in 1 year. Like the cliche is like, don't blink, they grow up so fast. And you're like, shut up. And then you're like,
holy.
Oh my God, it happened.
Yeah, no, that's super true. I mean, I agree. It's a cliche in growing up. You're always just like, don't tell me how fast time goes. But then it's like, wow, I swear like we were just pregnant with our first kid and now he's in kindergarten and the other two are running around.
Yep.
It's wild to think about.
I can't wait till the next stage is probably talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she can't.
Yep.
She says a couple words. Not super great, but your regular dada, mama.
Well, it's like it's its own language, right?
Yeah.
You get used to the toddler talk, we'll call it. She's not quite there, but she's toddler stage now.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like anybody else would look at your kid and be like, "What are they saying?" It's like, I know exactly what they're saying.
One more here. I hate how I have to keep doing that. I just wanted to just play like that, but
yeah.
Oh, right. You got any random fatherly advice, I guess?
Well, I'd say one that hit me hard enough to like bring me to tears just thinking about it, right, is you only get 18 summers with them.
Jesus, and man.
That's hard to think about, right? And then a lot would argue that it may be only 14 because when they're an infant, does it really count with what they're doing? And then after they get their driver's license, are they going to be, with you all summer? And looking back to when my kids were first young, I was active bar sports guy, playing volleyball on Tuesdays, cornhole on Thursdays, shooting trap on Wednesdays, and had a lot of fun. And the kids enjoyed it too. But now that they're to the age where they can do stuff, and hearing that quote, it just really hit me like, man, my 6-year-old, I've only got 10 left, and I get 10 more tries to make this like the summer of his life. And so I cut back on everything. I'm not dedicated to any weekly obligations this year and just really going to try diving into, I get 10 more tries to have this the summer that he remembers.
That immediately when that phrase came out of your mouth, that hit pretty damn hard.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you're right. It's probably less than 18 because, once they get like 16, probably don't want to deal with that anymore.
Right, which would be, possibly one of the funnest times we could have together once we're able to drive and and work out together, whatever it is.
Right.
But yeah, so that's one that's always stuck with me. After you hear it, you can't unhear it.
That's great. If I take one thing and be like, don't take that for granted. 18 months or 18 summers, 18 winters.
Yep.
That's good. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, not a problem. Happy to.
And 18, man.
Yeah, it goes quick.
I can't even think about her being 18 right now. Like,
right.
It's fun though. It's fun to watch her progressively pick up little things big things like walking, but also like the little hand gestures, like more.
Oh yeah, doing some of the baby sign language with them. All done.
Yeah. Yep. And like we were kind of just trying to decipher it too, because she'll.
Did you teach her airplane then, since you're a pilot?
No. I can't wait to take her on a flight.
Yeah.
Probably wait, till she can really understand what's going on. But
yeah.
I have a picture of me when I was younger with a David Clark headset on in some float plane.
That's way cool.
And I really want to recreate that with her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that could be, end up being generational of pilots and pictures of young kids.
I hope, man. I probably should start saving for her flight training if she's gonna do it. But yeah, that would be. Oh my gosh, I can't even think about that. If I'm like, could you imagine if if you're flying left seat, one of your sons are right seat, and you just went, all right, you got it.
Yeah.
And they just take over, rudder pedals and everything.
That would be sweet.
Like, Or if you're just like straight up co-pilot, like, hey, can you punch directions into KOEO or whatever?
Yep.
Boom, right in the Garmin, done.
Well, and honestly, with the simulators nowadays, if you push to get your flight hours and got your CFI, you could do, not all of it, but you can do a decent chunk of that right from, if you're a CFI, and sign off on their stuff. Yeah. And not even have to rent the plane for, I think it's 5 hours you can do, 3 or 5 hours you can do on your private.
Have you used Rush Cities?
I haven't. I thought about using it yesterday because we obviously got grounded with the weather, and thought about driving, but I didn't even want to go play on the roads yesterday.
I didn't either. Like,
I can imagine.
Yesterday was one of those days where I wreck my shit, I wreck your shit.
Exactly. Everything. Are you sure you want me there? It's gonna be gone by Monday.
I did. I texted. See, when the ground is super soft like that, and we just get dumped on with that heavy snow, it's just like, I know cars got to get out. Like, people got stuck in their driveways, but like, I tried to be on top of it, be like, hey guys, here's the deal. This is with my snow plowing stuff. Hey guys, here's the deal. This is not perfect conditions. Like, if you need it cleared out, I will do my best.
Where do you want your
I'm
gravel?
going to rip out everything. It's so muddy. But yeah, it went good yesterday. I didn't do all my accounts. A lot of them were like, nah, just leave it, man. Which I was like,
thank you.
Perfect.
Yes. Yes.
But no, back to the simulator. The first time I saw that was when I took my commercial drone license at Rush City.
Oh.
And right when he stuck me in the room, someone was on it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. So, I just wonder, because, like, I don't know, I would say when it comes to flying, I rely more on, like, the athletic aspect of things, like just feeling the plane, knowing what to turn or what rudder to push. You know what I mean?
Okay, when you're taking off, right, you got a right rudder.
Yep.
Do you get like the shake?
Depending. I purposely push my seat closer because then I don't shake as much. If my leg's closer to full extension, it'll start trembling.
So for the viewers who don't know, like when you mash the throttle into these planes, like you have to compensate right rudder to keep the plane going straight from the torque of the prop.
Yep.
And so you're basically, your rudder pedals are like this. You're constantly having pressure on your right one. Like, and it just strains your calves out so much. And then you just sit there and your calf is just like shaking because it's so hard.
Yep. No, that definitely happens. Or strong crosswind.
Oh, yeah.
I can only go up to 7 knots, but
yeah,
still the same thing.
Have you guys done like an insane crab into?
Yeah.
That's tricky too, where you're like looking at the runway right here and your whole plane is like.
Yeah, we didn't intend to, but we came over to land in Siren last week.
Yep.
Listened to the weather at 5 miles out, and I didn't check it right before I landed. Well, it probably the wind changed 30 degrees from weather check to landing.
Yep.
And it was kind of interesting because they're like, oh, they're taking off that runway. I wonder why, because it should have been straight headwind on this runway. Coming to land and crabbed hard into that thing. It's like, we landed, and my instructor's like, that was tough. She's like, check the weather again. I was like, oh yeah, so we should have been, we were landing crosswind when we thought we were landing head on, but whatever.
I will say, I had one very close, very, very close wing. Like, I dipped my wing into the runway.
Did it touch?
It almost touched, man. I'm not kidding you. Like, it probably had been inches from the ground. So what happened was I was in New Richmond. I was flying from Osceola to New Richmond, and some weird crosswinds, and I got wind shear from the hangars.
Sure.
So like, picture hangars, wind coming this way. There's like, when it flows over the hangars, you get this wind turbulence behind it, and it must have just caught me. Yeah, you don't know. Like, and I crabbed in, straightened out at the end, and I don't know what happened. I just look over, and I got this much clearance between the wingtip and the ground. Immediately, like, I don't know if it was supposed to be a land and leave, but I pulled over and just was like,
let me check it.
No, I didn't check. I didn't hit it. But I just remember being like, all right, just take a break here and just gather yourself.
Wasn't hard enough the transponder went off or anything, did it?
No.
Good.
No, all good. You hear the, oh my God. What's the horn? The stall horn.
Stall horn. Yeah. That's another fun experience, practicing stalls.
Yep. I like the 0 Gs. When you're just messing around. Like, a lot of times when I took my buddies out, I'd be like, where's my phone? All right, guys, hold your phones out.
Yep.
And then you're like, all right, anybody queasy? Nope. All right. 0 Gs and your phone's just like
floating.
Yeah.
That is cool.
That's always fun.
That's way cool. Get into it.
Oh man, what else we got? I think we covered quite a bit of stuff, man. And I'm so happy you came here because I had no idea. This is great. Like so many similar interests, and
big time.
I just love to pick your brain on this stuff, and I really hope we can continue this relationship and hear about your flight training.
I agree,
dude.
We'll report back because it's fun to talk about because you just run into situations that you'd like to have a conversation with, but right. If you don't have flight experience, I mean, you should say, "Oh, that sounds cool."
Right. No, I kind of want to end this one last little question off with going back to the business side of it. Is what are you most proud of in Madsen's?
There's a lot, but I would say right now, probably most proud for me would be just being able to provide jobs in the area for people that you don't have to have a higher education. We appreciate if you do, but you can literally come right out of high school and come into a career that is going to be rewarding in the aspect of helping people and being able to be your own detective, kind of your own boss, because these guys are out, guys and girls are out in the field doing their own stuff by themselves unless they have questions to call.
Right.
Being able to provide that job to people and that family environment that we have where we all truly care about each other is just, one of the pillars that we're really trying to stand on is to offer the best jobs we can and give the education we need for it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And where can people find you?
Check us out right on our website, madsenpest.com. Otherwise, stop in and we're right by Anytime Fitness and Siren. We'd be happy to chat with anyone.
Awesome. Well, again, appreciate you coming out here, man. I had a great time.
You as well. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Till next time.
Till next time. Scoop you later.